Couch Talks is available to stream on all major podcast platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. For more information on that or to find me anywhere else online, click the link in the description. Welcome back to Couch Talks, the #1 podcast. I hope you guys are doing honestly really well. I haven't posted in like a month now. I'm not too sure when I'm going to post this, but today it is Sunday, October 29th. We just came past Halloween weekend, which was interesting to say the least. But, you know, I've been wanting to do this video for a minute. If you guys have been a fan of the channel for a minute, you guys know I posted Ryan Rants episode, or like two of them actually, like a year, maybe 2 years ago. And I wanted to make a little kind of like side podcast in the podcast, like just one where I do it just alone, like a solo podcast. But I didn't like the way I formatted those, so I ended up taking them off the channel. I'm kind of doing like the same thing, but now I just wanted to actually be fully a part of the channel. Like I don't know how I'm gonna call it or like what I'm gonna call it yet, but it's gonna be a part of the channel. It's gonna be Couch Talks episode blank. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do these every once in a while. The basketball season's coming back up, so the episodes are going to start slowing down, which I'm sorry because I'm dumb and took a month off, and now I'm about to, take a few months more off because of basketball. So, but I'm going to try to deliver as many episodes as consistently as I can before never. I'm just going to keep doing that forever. Thank you guys for coming. You guys may notice I have a new mic. I posted it online a few times, like the new systems and the new mics and everything, and they're super fucking dope. I hope you guys can hear like an apparent change in quality in terms of just sound. I don't know. Some people might be listening on Spotify, some might be on YouTube, but either way, the audio should sound way better. So I hope this is just like a better listening experience for everybody involved, including myself. Future Ryan, editing this right now, looking at me right now, just like, I wonder what's on your mind. I'm gonna tell you what's on mine. All right, this is getting weird. I'm sorry. Anyways, so basically what I want to do in these episodes is, recently I've been writing down like things that just being like going through my mind in this book. And I'm going to share those things. And if anything else comes up on my mind, I'm going to share that too. And I these kind of episodes can be so versatile. Like I can, obviously do this, or I think now with my new system, I can take like live calls and maybe just do like a few people, like kind of podcast. I don't know. It'll be cool though. Like this whole like new idea, it's not my idea. I've got it honestly from like Theo Vaughn and Duncan Trussell. They do like their podcast, but they also have like a solo kind of entity podcast where it's just them, which is really cool. Those are honestly usually my favorite episodes from both of them, because it's just like, it's refreshing to just hear like one person's like thought process. Obviously I love podcasts. I have on, but it's like refreshing to just hear what's going on in one person's mind without anybody else like chipping in. Like you kind of just hear their thoughts and brain, and that's what I'm gonna do here. So I'm gonna be honest, it's probably gonna be relatively like a more serious podcast, but I hope you guys enjoy. Like this is a podcast I would probably listen to like towards the night, maybe like on the way to school, to just kind of set my brain in a certain way. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy. Yeah. So starting off with the first thing I wrote down, which is actually funny because I should start listening to myself. I said, stop getting distracted. It's, you can have your fun, but make sure you focus on the goal. Whatever your goal is out there, whatever you strive to be, or even if you don't know what you want to be yet, you know there's certain things that you need to take care of and be on top of. Let's say if you go to school, right? Make sure you're getting your schoolwork done. Let's say if you're at work, make sure you get what you need to do at work done. Like, stop getting distracted by every little thing. Like, you're like, I don't want to say it, but you're being a beta male. Like, just straight up like that. Like, getting distracted and letting things distract you from what you actually want to achieve just makes you like an average person. Like, who, like, do you want to be an average person, or do you want to fucking be better? And if you don't know what you want yet, start thinking. Like, it's okay. Like, nothing's gonna fall into your lap. Seriously. Like, if you want something, go get it. Stop waiting around for people to just place what you want in your lap. Does that even fucking make sense? No. Like, stop waiting. Stop waiting. Go get whatever the fuck you want, or at least chase it. You know what I'm saying? At least try. You can try and fail. And I think that's almost a problem with me a little bit. I get scared to try because I feel like I'm going to fail. But that's the beauty of trying, that you don't know you're going to win. There's something so much. For example, think about a football game. If you went to a football game or the Super Bowl, for example, and you already knew what team was going to win 100%, it would make the game itself not interesting. Like, sometimes you have to try and be okay if you lose, you know? Which it kind of ties me into the next thing I kind of want to talk about, that people come and go, you know? I think that's something, honestly, one of the biggest things I struggle with is realizing that people in your life are going to come and go. You know, like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, you can try to hold on to people all you want. It's not going to make anything better. It's actually going to probably make it worse. You have to let life organically happen, I think. People are just going to come in and out of your life. It's not your fault. You know, it might be your fault, but there's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are here for seasons, and that's just, you know, what that's just life, I think. You know? And this is something I think I wrote to myself when I was feeling a little sad one day. You know, and this goes, you know, for anybody that has recently gone through a breakup. I think you need to find who you are separate from that other person. Whether that's, you know, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or you know, a deep-seated friendship. You need to figure out who you are without anybody. You need to figure out who you are by yourself, because and that's honestly, that's a reason why I feel like relationships at such a young age usually don't work. Is simply because you weren't given enough time to figure out like who you are first. You haven't had a chance to love yourself first. So now you're, you know, learning how to love somebody. Nobody's discrediting that you actually love that person, but the problem is you love that person more than you love yourself. So now when they leave, which most people do, you're just left empty and hurt and confused, and you don't know what to do because you don't love yourself. Like, you don't know how to fall back on that love. So now you're starting from below zero, because now you don't love yourself and now they don't love you. So now you're just in a weird place, you know? So my advice is, you know, if you're getting into a relationship at a young age, just be careful, you know? Learn how to love you. Learn how to love yourself before you go desperately seeking that from somebody else. And kind of going into that is, you know, once you learn yourself and love yourself, you realize that your brain is either your biggest enemy or your biggest ally, or greatest ally. You like, most of the shit that you think you're going through, you're actually not. And that kind of makes no fucking sense, but it kind of makes A lot of sense. Because think about how many times you've been in your head about something, like thinking about something all the time, and you're like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. None of that shit is real. It's all in your head. Like, I remember I was just in a situation. I thought I was in a situation like maybe a week or two ago. I'm sitting there and I'm running course, like scenarios and everything in my head, like da 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 da. And then I realized none of this shit is fucking real at all. None of it is real. I just tortured myself in my brain for absolutely no reason. It was not necessary. And guess what? All of that torture that I put myself through didn't matter because nothing changed. And my whole point is that you need to understand how to like control your brain, like let it run free, but at the same time learn and learn when you are almost purposely abusing yourself. You're abusing your brain. You're hurting yourself for no reason. There's so much times where like, and I'm envious of people that are, you know, quote unquote nonchalant. I'm envious of that because I wish I could just sit down and say, I don't care, you know, because I do. And that's the honest truth. You know, a lot of people, you know, I might put up a front, you know, because, you know, I'm scared to get hurt, you know. But, you know, I'm scared to get hurt again. But I care a lot, you know, about a lot of shit. And then about little things, too. I think a lot of people don't even know I'm thinking about them, you know, and it'll be like the dumbest shit. Like, yo, you can like walk past me and be like, yo, I like that sweater. I'm always going to think about that shit. I'm always going to be like, ah, thanks, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that. And that person might forget and like not even know that shit happened. And I'm like, I remember that, you know? This kind of actually, I had this conversation with one of my boys the other day, which I thought was very interesting. He said, you know how you feel towards, you know, whatever person, you know what I'm saying? Like you, like perfect example, you know how when you were like, and this is for like all my guys and it could work vice versa for my girls out there, is you go, you remember when like you were a freshman in high school and you would always like look up to that senior and be like, oh my God, you know, they're so hot, or like, you know what I mean? Like you would just look up to them because they're like the coolest fucking person on the planet. Like you're that person to somebody now and you have no clue, or maybe you're not. Who fucking knows? You might not be. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to be like that's for sure happening, but that's kind of just like a weird thing to think about, that like whatever you have felt towards somebody will probably feel towards you. So like that secret admiration that you have for somebody's having that towards you too, if not that person, which is kind of fucking weird. And it's kind of crazy. And that's why, fuck, man. I just wish people would talk to each other more. I think we could just avoid so much bullshit, you know? And that's for friendships and relationships and just normal people that you don't even have a deep-seated connection with. Yo, if you just talked about the little things that maybe you know might bother you, you could just avoid so much drama, so much, you know, problems. I think it's important that we just talk to each other. Think about how much silent beef goes on a daily, on a day-to-day basis. Like how much people are silently fucking hating each other. That's weird. It's very weird. And I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done it before. For fuck's sake, I have a lot. But I try my best not to do it anymore. You know, and I try to speak to people when I'm having issues, or I try to, you know, get ahead of certain situations, because I think that's childish. I think it's childish to sit with, you know, animosity or beef towards somebody. I think it's a little childish, you know. Just talk. You know, what's the worst that can happen? That person says, fuck you, I don't like you. Oh, well, at least I know. Now I don't have to sit here and be like, damn, that person probably hates me. I'd rather just know they don't fucking like you. You know what I mean? So just talk, you know? I think talking's important. I think we could all learn a lot from each other if we just fucking talk to each other. You know? Um, you know? Yeah, kind of this quote that I wrote down. You might just suffer more in your mind than you ever will in reality. Like you might just abuse yourself more than you're getting abused in the actual world. Like you might just be bullying yourself. You need to chill out, dude. Seriously, like I know I'm not the only one that sits and tortures myself, and tortures myself for things that I don't deserve. I'm so mean to myself. I'm so mean to myself. And I don't know why, because if somebody ever talked to me the way I talk to myself, I would fucking kill them. I would kill them. There's no way I would let anybody disrespect me the way I disrespect myself. So sometimes I need to tell myself to calm down. I need to tell myself to relax, because you know what? I might just be abusing myself. I might just be abusing my brain, and I'm being too hard on myself. And to be honest, I need to relax. You know? And I wasn't necessarily, nah, I was talking from personal experience. I could be a dickhead to myself, and I know I'm not the only one. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, just be a little nicer to yourself. It's hard. It's hard being you, man. It's hard being human. Just be a little nicer to yourself. You don't gotta be such a, you ain't gotta be so mean to yourself, and that kind of goes for it. Like, just be a little more grateful for what you have. We really do take life as a whole for granted almost 24/7, like you take for granted that you have a house, that you have a car, that your parents work. And it's not for everybody, but for the people that do. And even the people that don't have that stuff, I'm sure you have something that somebody else wishes they had. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just be a little more grateful. It's hard. It's hard. And I think if you were a little more grateful for the things that you do have, you would stop focusing so much on the things you don't have. Because me, I feel like I'm always focusing on the things that I don't have. And it just makes me unhappy. And, and I want to be happy, And, and this is just, so I could kind of flip the page, is, two wrongs don't make a right. That's a fucking trick. That's a lie. Whatever somebody did to you, if you do the same thing, you don't even the scoreboard. That's not how life works. You just make everything worse. So just be yourself, man. Like, follow your heart. And if your heart is telling you do the fucking whatever fuck shit you want to do, fucking do it. I'm not gonna sit here and say don't do it. I'm joking. It's a fucking joke. Kind of with the grateful thing a little bit is take a second and look around. I think life is so beautiful. Have you ever just looked at the stars? Have you ever just sat and looked at the stars for one night, for like an hour? Because I have. I do it all the time. I think it's important. I like looking up at the stars because it gives me hope that I'm not alone. That whatever I'm going through, somebody has gone through it before or is going through it now. I'm not alone in any emotion that I feel. And I kind of just wish, like we would just talk about it a little more. Fuck, what am I talking about? What's going on? I was talking about stars. I like the fucking stars. I like the stars because they're beautiful. The stars are just cool. It makes you wonder. It makes you know that there's something else out there besides yourself. There's something more to this whole life shit. There's something more to this life shit, because if there's stars that are in the sky, millions or billions of light years away or whatever, there's no way I'm the only one here. There's something else going on for sure. That's that. All right, let's see. This one I like. This one I like a lot. And I'm trying to. Most of these things that I'm writing down are things that I am learning myself. These aren't things that I've mastered in any sense of the fucking words that I'm saying. I'm just putting my thoughts on page so that I could share them with you, so that maybe if you need to hear it, then maybe I need to hear it too. Give up the temptation of wanting someone and rather create a person within yourself worthy enough for your presence and time. Be your own friend. Tell yourself the things that you wish other people would tell you. The sad truth is we only have ourselves. Like, friends, family, girlfriends, they'll come and they'll go. You have to be that person for yourself. You have to be that person that will always keep yourself accountable, will always keep yourself in the right state of mind. Because if you don't, one day no one's going to be there to pick you up. One day you're gonna be crying and you're gonna call everybody on your phone and nobody's gonna pick up. And you're gonna wonder why nobody's picking up, and it might just be they're all busy with their own fucking problems. And that's not a personal story at all. I just made that shit up. But it felt deep. It felt deep. Pause. Wait, pause. I'm sorry. I think and this is I think the last thing I'll say for this episode is be able to have that conversation with yourself. Ask yourself, how are you doing? You know what I mean? Have that conversation with yourself to see if you're okay. Or even if you're doing good, still ask yourself if you're okay. It's important. It's important to self-check yourself. Make sure you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait for somebody to ask if you're doing good, if you're not doing good. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thank you guys for sticking around for a little bit and listening to me, talk a little bit. I want to do this more. I think this is good. It feels good. I hope you guys did enjoy this little video. Please DM me if anything that I said resided with you, or give me feedback. I would love to hear it. Seriously, it means the world when you guys reach out and tell me that you related to something, or you know what I'm saying. So, but everybody have a blessed day. I will see you guys in the next episode, which will be I have no clue. Okay. Peace.